First with breaking news. First with new information. 19 News starts now with a first alert for severe weather.
And we begin with your first alert on the risk of severe weather this afternoon and into tonight. The first round hit pretty hard this morning, depending on where you are. Boy, we had some pretty heavy downpours where I was, for sure.
Yeah, lightning and thunder as well. It's a 19 First Alert Weather Day as the First Alert Weather team tracks what's next. Thanks for joining us first at 4. I'm Nicole Versansky.
And I'm Brian Duffy. Once we get through this, though, we're going to get a little break.
That's nice. 19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page is here with Cleveland's most accurate forecast.
Yeah, and you know, I will say this. Thankfully, we did, in some respects, see that rain and storms earlier this morning, because I'm going to show you radar. And if we hadn't, it's possible we could be dealing with some really nasty storms this afternoon. So that may have been a good thing in retrospect that we did have a lot of that rain and cloud cover around for the first part of the day. I'm not calling the all clear just yet, only because we still have some activity trying to get going out to our west and out over the northern shores of Lake Erie. So it is still possible that we could see a few rumbles of thunder trying to mix in all out ahead of this next cold front. But as I zoom this picture out, you'll see that is one confirmed tornado warning just to the north and east of the Parkersburg area. And then if you head down towards Cincinnati, northern Kentucky, another big cell that has had a confirmed tornado on it too. And again, these are these isolated storms that have really done a lot of damage in some parts of the state of Ohio south of I-70. So thankfully that has not been the case here today. We're still dealing with a little bit of cloud cover, but some of those clouds have broken apart. And where that has happened, temperatures have been able to recover upper 70s, lower to middle 80s. Factor in all the humidity, it feels like we're sitting upper 80s near 90. It is still possible that we can see some storms here next few hours. I'm going to walk you through all of that latest data coming up in a bit.
Tragedy. An act of domestic violence put a Bedford woman in a wheelchair for 30 years. Over the weekend, someone broke into her home when she was away and stole the wheelchair, her only way to get around. Our Harry Boomer joining us live now with her story. You'll only see it here on 19. Harry, this is horrible.
It is really, really horrible, Nicole. This wheelchair ramp you see behind me right now is the only way Deborah Moore can get in and out of her house. And as you said, over the weekend, someone broke in and took the wheelchair that she recently got. Deborah Moore has been a paraplegic since the mid-90s. She became dependent on wheelchairs to get around. Fast forward to now.
My wheelchair, those are my legs. See? And if I don't have somebody to pick me up, take me into the bathroom, my hygiene, you know, and stuff like that, I'm just stuck in this bed.
Mrs. Moore went to a family gathering on Sunday. When she got back to her Bedford home, some heartless thief had broken in and stole her much-needed wheelchair. They also ripped off her 65-inch TV off the wall, took her laptop, some of her clothes, and money. She filed a police report, and they're waiting to see what happens next.
I think it's cruel. It's cruel. I've heard of thieves, but for somebody to take your legs, that's not humane. That's beyond cruel.
Mrs. Moore used to be a charge nurse working for Metro Health Medical Center back in the day. A stalker followed her home and shot her several times. The jealous gunman also shot one of her daughters and then turned the gun on himself. The shooting left her dependent on others and needing a wheelchair for life. Their insurance company told them it would take 5 years to replace the one stolen on Sunday. Her daughter, Keisha Frazier, says it cost around $30,000.
It's a motorized chair. It's really nice. It's very expensive. It actually has turn signals. It has headlights on it. So if someone's seen it, like, they would really recognize it. So
now, decades later, tragedy strikes again.
For somebody to take a person's legs, knowing they need their wheelchair, that's more than TVs, money, or anything else, you know, because that's my livelihood. What can I do without my legs, without being able to get out of this bed?
The thief was seen by neighbors pushing the motorized wheelchair with a TV on it down the street. A second wheelchair was also taken from the house. It was found broken behind the garage. Now she's trying to get a new one. As you said, 5 years possibly. In Bedford, Harry Boomer, 19 News.
Well, firefighters are taking their fight to the state after they say the city's own finance director went undercover on Facebook pretending to be one of them. Catherine Huntley now with us live with the story. Catherine.
The Solon Firefighters Union has filed an unfair labor practice charge against the city of Solon, the mayor, and the finance director. The filing accuses the finance director of anonymously posing as a firefighter on a community Facebook page. According to yesterday's filing with the State Employment Relations Board, all this stems from payroll issues with the city's finance department. The union says the payroll issues have plagued members since January. In April, the filing states there was even a meeting between the mayor, finance director, and union to discuss how to fix the issues. Recently, on the popular Solon Community Group Facebook page, a user posted anonymously claiming to be a member of the fire department. However, the person posting anonymously can still be seen by the group administrator. According to the filing, the group administrator publicly identified the anonymous poster as the Solon City Finance Director, Tanita Tillman. The filing alleges the poster repeatedly defended the finance department and shared confidential information from the union's meeting with the city, all while posing to be a firefighter. According to the filing, Tillman commented, quote, "I'm a current fireman, and at the beginning of the year, payroll delayed sending some of our deduction payments to vendors, but when our team and union attorney met with finance, they were already caught up." The filing says the post also brought race into the conversation, saying, quote, "Yes, the finance director is black, but I looked her up and she's very qualified." In a press release, the union pushed back on the comments, saying, IAFF Local 2079 rejects any implication that its concerns have been based on race and maintains that all discussions and concerns have consistently centered on payroll administration, contractual obligations, and compliance with Ohio law. Now the union wants the State Employment Relations Board to investigate. They say the city's finance director committed unfair labor practices by sharing privileged information, by insinuating the union's advocacy was based on racial discrimination, and by posing as a bargaining member to discredit the union, among other reasons. The union says prior to taking this Facebook comment complaint to the state, they took it to the city asking for an investigation. The city did acknowledge their communication, but never followed up further. We did reach out to the city, the mayor's office, the law department, and the finance director today in multiple ways, but never received a response. In Solon, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
All right, still monitoring that major accident, I-71 South, just beyond the Metro Health curve. We are seeing backups very, very far, only going about 4 miles an hour just before the Tremont interchange here between I-90, 490, and I-71. But look at all the way where this is backed up to. You see that yellow and orange on the entire inner belt here, all the way back to Dead Man's Curve. Still only about 15-mile-an-hour speeds just past Superior and Prospect Avenues. So this is a major crash causing some major backups. Quite a few detours that you will need to know about here in just a second. Here's all this traffic. Again, just a mess. The right 3 lanes are blocked by a fire truck here as I-71 splits with the Jennings Freeway white here. So again, probably best to avoid this area. A couple of detours I do want to show you here. Coming out of downtown, your best bet is going to take West 25th Street from either the Detroit Superior Bridge, the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge, or the West Shoreway here, getting off at West 28th and taking the connector roads that get you to West 25th all the way down to the interchange with I-71 and West 25th Street. That gets you beyond all this mess right here. If you are coming from I-90 westbound, another good idea would just be take the West Shoreway again all the way to West 28th Street, hook up with West 25th Street, take that all the way down to I-71. Major delays along the Innerbelt and I-71 South just before West 25th Street. Also another accident to tell you about causing a few slowdowns here. I-90 eastbound at East 152nd Street. The right lane is blocked there. In fact, here's a view of that. Looks like things are improving over there, but you see a little bit of backed up traffic over there near West 152nd Street. So a couple of incidents going on. We'll keep you updated on it.
Nicholas, thank you. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth appearing before a key Senate panel today to seek additional money to fund what is the ongoing war with Iran.
So this hearing comes as the Pentagon's top spokesperson revealed nearly 100 service members have been hurt since July 7th, though he said most injuries are, quote, minor concussions. Lee Waldman has the story.
Every night we're degrading them further and further, and the president has all the options necessary. If they want to talk, they can talk. Otherwise, they can deal with the War Department.
A stern warning from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ahead of his testimony before lawmakers in Congress. The Trump administration is lobbying members of Congress for tens of billions of dollars to fund the ongoing war, which has stretched on for nearly 5 months. Today, President Donald Trump vowed the fighting would continue.
They want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest. Honestly, they haven't seen anything yet. We've been nice.
Secretary Hegseth's hearing appearance comes amid reporting that the Pentagon has been slow to discuss injuries to troops. In a post on X, the Pentagon's top spokesperson, Sean Parnell, said while nearly 100 service members have been injured since July 7th, 96% have returned duty. The Defense Casualty Analysis System has become the primary official source for the number of U.S. casualties in the conflict. A CNN review appears to show significant delays in updates. Officials have said the delay is intended to protect service members.
This is a frightening situation, and yeah, they have not been telling us what's been happening in terms of lost equipment, in terms of the cost of the war, and certainly in terms of the service members who have been wounded.
I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
All right, as we go through the rest of this evening, and more specifically this afternoon, we still have a window where a few showers and storms will be possible. I don't necessarily think we're talking about widespread severe now at this point, but with temperatures still warmer, it is certainly possible we could get a couple storms to be a bit better organized. Again, hinging on the fact that they do indeed develop after all the rain and storms we saw earlier this morning. This is out ahead of a cold front. So once this front passes through, which will happen during kind of the early evening hours tonight, it is going to be pretty much dry then as we head into those overnight hours. And that's going to be a theme that we're going to hold on to through the rest of this week as we talk about a bit more of a temperature pattern change going through the next several days. Live look from New Philadelphia, lots of clouds out there. We've been monitoring some showers and storms just to the south. And again, this cold front is just west of Toledo. So we've been monitoring to see how these couple showers have really maintained, if any organization at all has been there. And the problem is, I think our atmosphere is just a little too used over from those showers and storms earlier, that some of this is struggling. Now, there is still some activity up across the northern part of the Lake Erie Basin here. We'll see how well that holds together as well. But I think overall, at least in terms of intensity, we're starting to see those storms come down.
Dennis Kucinich, the one-time Cleveland mayor and congressman, is not giving up, even though construction of the new Browns Stadium is underway.
Yeah, he's now taking his appeal to the highest court in Ohio. Dan DeRose joins us with Kucinich's answer to why he just won't let this go. I heard you ask him this afternoon. And
you got to ask. It's right? What everybody at home is asking. There's one of only two people in the state that just won't let this go, and one of them is Dennis Kucinich. Now, let's remember what he's arguing. He was denied by the 8th District Court of Appeals to move forward with this lawsuit. He claims the deal that the city cut with the Haslam Sports Group to let him go, he told me today it was a horrible deal. So he tried to sue on behalf of taxpayers. The 8th District Court of Appeals said, no, you can't do that. First of all, you don't have a legal license and represent the taxpayers. Now he's going to the Ohio Supreme Court saying what that decision was wrong because taxpayers should be able to sue an entity like the city of Cleveland when they think there is something wrong being done. That's basically what it spells out in his appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court. So I did have to be devil's advocate in my time with the former congressman today to say, look, ground has been broken, the dirt is being moved, construction is underway. Why have you not just given up?
There's a legal point here, which, you don't let your constitutional rights go. I don't know about you. Let me play the devil's advocate. You don't let a constitutional right go when you have a right to appeal. And that's what I'm doing. So we'll see where it goes. And I'm not a quitter. I'm following this thing through. And we'll see if the Supreme Court, whether or not they agree with my point of view or whether they'll uphold the Court of Appeals.
He's already been denied on about 3 different levels. This would be the highest level. We'll have to wait and see. The Ohio Supreme Court can decide to either hear his appeal or wipe it out, or agree with Dennis Kucinich and send it back to the 8th District Court of Circuit Courts. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in probably the next month or two.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, we are still in 19 First Alert Weather Day mode, only because we could still have a couple showers and storms that develop all ahead of that cold front as it slowly makes its way into our area later this evening. Really, once we get past, I think, the 6 p.m. hour, things should really start to trend downward in intensity. But we saw a lot of heavy rain earlier this morning. Some places were able to pick up well over half of an inch of rain as a result of some of those showers and storms. You can see Sandusky over the last 24 hours picking up 1.3 inches of rain. Ravenna almost 1.25. So that just kind of gives you an idea of some of the power behind some of these storms. And with a little less cloud cover in place, at least as of right now, temperatures have been able to rebound from the 70s back into the mid 80s. Why is that important? Well, if we can build in a little bit more of that heat and humidity, it is possible that we could then see additional showers and storms develop all out ahead of that cold front. But the problem is the few storms that we have seen trying to get going across parts of western Ohio and west central Ohio, they have struggled to materialize. And I think a lot of that has to do with the rain and rumbles that we saw earlier this morning. Not so much the case for areas farther to the south. Some pretty nasty storms south of our area right now. So maybe in all things considered, it was good that we really were spared maybe some of the worst of the weather that our atmosphere could have produced. You'll notice as we go through the rest of your future view, a couple showers and storms still possible through this evening. Again, I think the severe risk now at this point would be extremely isolated. And really, as you wait for that cold front to pass, you're going to start to see lower humidity settling into our area and a big pattern change really taking shape as we get into the middle part of the work week, headed into the early part of the weekend. A couple showers still possible tomorrow.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
Big problem right now, breaking traffic update. All lanes now closed on 71 South at the Metro curve. Backups are only getting worse, stretching all the way back over the Inner Belt Bridge beyond Dead Man's Curve. And now we are starting to see traffic slowing at East 55th in the marginal there.
Yeah, you're looking at ODOT cameras as we try and give you a closer look at the back-off spanning again over the Inner Belt Bridge. You can see Kenilworth in this shot. Emergency vehicles are on the scene of the crash. Again, all lanes are shut down on 71 South by the Metro curve. Nicholas Schneider, he is monitoring this. He's going to be back in with an update in just a few minutes. Right now to your top 4 at 4, and this is new video from a dangerous chase. Brooklyn officers say that SUV was tied to an active felony case. The driver, you saw him take off from Sheets, almost hitting 2 police officers. Police say the car ran red lights, hit another vehicle, then the driver jumps out of the car running off, but was caught. The passenger is the one who jumped behind the wheel to get away. So one suspect is now in jail, and police say they know who the other suspect is. They just haven't quite made an arrest just yet.
Something else. Westlake police releasing disturbing new information following a murder in the city. William Feather is charged with murder in the death of his wife, Michelle. He called 911 from their Canterbury Road home, but when officers arrived, they say they found blood throughout the house and a story that kept changing. Officers also noted dried blood under Feather's fingernails and a fresh scratch on his face. Now, he also had a prior domestic violence arrest just 6 months ago.
Cleveland police are investigating a serious rollover crash on 490 West near the 71 South ramp. This was earlier today, around 10 this morning. Officers were called there, found a vehicle on its side. A man was lying unconscious outside of the car. Cleveland EMS rushed him to the hospital. Investigators are now working to figure out what caused that crash.
Eastlake man is in jail after police say he stabbed another man inside a bar. This happened just after midnight at the North Coast Cafe on Lakeshore. Officers say the victim was stabbed several times, but is expected to survive. The suspect, 40-year-old Russell Nadzan, is now facing charges. Breaking at this hour, new video just into the newsroom. This is the Rock Fire in California, and it's really tragic, quite honestly. It's burned over 5,000 acres, only 5% contained. The fire ignited yesterday along Highway 395, and it is posing a direct threat to drivers in the area. Evacuation orders and warnings are in place, as well as road closures. Strong erratic wind gusts making this really, really difficult to put out.
Also breaking, severe thunderstorms triggered flash flooding and a tornado watch for parts of Connecticut today, with more rain now in the forecast. The flood watch is active through midnight. The torrential rain comes just 3 days after flash flooding really pounded that area.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
We're taking a live look through the First Alert camera network. We're tracking the risk of more severe weather this afternoon.
Heavy rain, strong winds are the main threats. We saw some of that, of course, early this morning. 19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page is back.
She shows us what's going on right now. It seems like most of the severe weather is to the south of us.
It is, but that little cluster of storms that we were watching over the lake, that is going to inch closer to us. So it is possible that that is our last real good wave of shower and thunderstorm activity. That it may not necessarily be for everybody, but it is something that we will keep a close eye on, which is why we're keeping that 19 First Alert weather day going through about 6 p.m. because you still have a chance to see a couple more storms try to get going here over the next few hours. Relatively quiet here across our area right now. Again, the more powerful storms have been closer to the I-70 corridor, points to the south. Some really nasty storms rolling through parts of southeastern Ohio earlier this afternoon. But this is what has my attention, at least in the short term, because this line of storms has not weakened since it's pushed out over the lake. Lake temperatures currently are sitting mid to upper 70s, so it is going to continue to add fuel for some of these storms. And this may have an impact, say, Cleveland eastward here as we go through the early part of this evening. That is what we are going to be closely monitoring over the next couple of hours. Live look over downtown, though, right now. It is relatively quiet. Still a little bit of cloud cover in the area, but we've seen some breaks to some sunshine, at least periodically this afternoon, and that's allowed that temperature to rebound into the low to mid 80s with all that humidity on hand and certainly that recent rainfall. It's going to feel more so like you're sitting into the upper 80s to near 90. As you go through the next few hours, I'd keep that 19 First Alert weather app handy because we could be still tracking a few showers and storms in the area. Then that cold front starts to come in, and it's really going to drop our temperatures here as we head into the later part of tonight. But you got a window here, next few hours, where rain and storms still remain possible. We'll talk about the bigger temperature swing coming up.
Before your kids head back to school, 12 Northeast Ohio organizations are teaming up to teach children how to protect themselves from trafficking and online predators.
So first at 4, Isabella Roberts joins us live with information on how the program now being rolled out across Cuyahoga County. Isabella.
Yeah, Brian and Nicole, the people behind this effort say keeping kids safe really starts long before anything happens. This program focusing on one key word: prevention. 22 professionals, 12 organizations, 3 days. The goal? Equip adults to teach kids how to stay safe before exploitation ever begins.
Any parent is mortified of the idea that their child will be solicited or manipulated online. However, that is the world our children grew up in, and this fear cannot paralyze us.
It's called Not a Number, a nationally recognized curriculum now being adopted across Cuyahoga County, targeting kids ages 12 to 18. The threats are real. The training covers all of them, from online predators to sexual abuse. Greg Bell, a program coordinator with Northern Ohio Recovery Association, is one of the 22 professionals being certified this week at Cuyahoga Community College.
And the word prevention is the key. Providing what you see is not always what you get.
In an era where kids are online more than ever, traffickers and predators know it. Christy Muncie is the CEO of Collaborative to End Human Trafficking, one of the 12 organizations behind this effort.
It's an issue that happens in the shadows. It's an issue that not a lot of adults get glimpses into this world that teenagers and kids have to deal with.
The curriculum also focuses on one critical skill:
knowing who they can go to if they experience something that makes them really uncomfortable, a teacher, a parent, and how to talk to these adults.
The classes are federally funded through the Department of Health and Human Services, making them free to participating organizations, making it possible to pass on this important information to more than 1,500 Cuyahoga County kids this school year. And Muncie has a message for parents tonight.
I want adults and parents to hear that there's an army out here of people who are getting ready to support their kids.
Certification classes run through Wednesday, and facilitators will start to bring this curriculum into classrooms this fall. For any parents who want more information on this program, they can head to our website, cleveland19.com. Live in Cleveland, Isabella Roberts, 19 News.
Now this, the union representing the Garfield Heights firefighters have submitted a formal letter of no confidence in Fire Chief Kenneth Strope. They sent the letter to city council members and the mayor. The union says firefighters have concerns with the chief's leadership and conduct and decision making, and they will continue to provide the highest level of service while working with city officials on their concerns. Police are investigating a stabbing at a gas station. A 40-year-old man seriously hurt. This was at the Shell station, East 93rd in Kinsman, just a block away from the 4th District Police Station. Man was taken to the hospital. We're waiting to hear if the police have made an arrest or if they have a suspect.
We have new video from a fiery explosion outside a federal building in New York City, and it is raising new questions about security and a potential motive. Bradley Blackburn has the story.
Video shows the moment a man dumped fuel outside 26 Federal Plaza in Manhattan and set it on fire. The explosion sent people nearby running as police quickly apprehended the suspect.
He poured gasoline onto the ground and ignited it with a lighter and an incendiary device. That device was a firework, a large firework in a canister.
The suspect was identified as 43-year-old Andrew Arabaka. Police say he was wearing a military-style helmet and also fired several rounds of pellets from an air rifle toward the building, which holds immigration hearings and houses ICE offices.
There was one man who took him down initially and got him down on the ground and stopped him from lighting more on fire as well as shooting more.
When he was being arrested, he yelled derogatory terms to ICE, used bad words, obviously. He is an anti-American, anti-government extremist.
Officials say the suspect was armed with 2 axes, a machete, and multiple knives. 3 people were hurt in the incident, including an immigrant who came to the building for a hearing. A naturalization ceremony scheduled for Monday was canceled.
The building was attacked. Mr. Arabaka was looking to injure people.
Authorities say the suspect is an Army veteran who served more than 20 years ago. Charges against him have not yet been filed. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Federal buildings are often targets for extremists. This specific building had its security hardened in the 1990s after it was included on a list of terrorist bomb targets.